Hey y'all, it's the one and only Mrs. C. Chrissy.
Hey y'all, it's the one and only Mrs. C. Chrissy, and my therapy today is all about my fight with procrastination. Y'all, it's bad. Where do I even start? I mean, it's so much to say. It literally seeps into every part of my life. Now, don't get me wrong, every now and then I get on a kick and I'm knocking out tasks, I'm going all in, I'm focused, but in general, my default is to procrastinate. And the lies I tell myself just to justify it is silly. So I know me, and I know that I work well, if not better in my opinion, under pressure. And I've come to embrace that to a certain extent. Don't judge me, don't do it. In fact, let's just take judgment off the table and hear me out. My logic is crazy, I admit, but my mentality most of the time and how I approach something is why waste time and effort starting? And I'm using quotations here. Why waste time and effort starting on a project when I know from experience that I am just going to overthink it, rethink it, and end up doing it all over again at the last minute anyway. For instance, if I'm booking a vacation, and y'all, I love to travel. I'm booking a vacation, I'm getting ready to take a trip, and I book a resort or a hotel 6 months out. Do you know how many bigger, better, and sometimes even cheaper options I run across in a 6-month period of time? I could literally end up going through that entire process 3 times, and I have before. Going through it, rebooking, redoing the research multiple times when I could just wait until like a month out, maybe closer, pick the best option at that time and call it a day. At work, if I have a training, a script I have to write, a project I have to do, and I do it, I get to it right away in a nice, timely, well planned out fashion. Quotations again. I'll go back closer to the actual due date, or even if I already turned it in and there's still time, and again, rethink it, redo the entire thing. And this is just based off things that I've learned even in that short period of time from when I turned it in the first time. There's a different perspective I want to come from or approach I want to take, and I end up redoing it. And if for some reason, I say forget it, I did it, leave it as is, I'm not satisfied, y'all. I'm always looking back like I should have just went back. I should have just did that. I should have added that. I should have just redid it. It wouldn't have been that big of a deal. And let's not even talk about when someone else makes a suggestion on the exact same thing you wanted to go back and change, and now they get the credit for it. I can't. So what I'm saying is, for me, I might as well just wait, right? Procrastinate and do it at the last minute when I'm assumedly thinking clearer. I'm operating more precisely. I'm motivated by the challenge, that pressure of making the deadline. So arguably, just because I have to do it, that do-over is a necessary part. Maybe it's a necessary part of the process to get the best outcome. But in my humble little opinion, it's a waste of time because for me, I'm doing double work most of the time. And I'm humble, guys. It's crazy when you have to say that, trust me. But I'm consciously making an effort to stop minimizing myself. And that's a podcast, I promise y'all. So most of the time, when I go back to a project after I've procrastinated and knocked it out in a fraction of the time that it should have taken me to do, I wouldn't change a thing. A lot of times I look back and think, that was a damn good job. Now, this is within a reasonable look back time, within a month or 2. You should absolutely grow and have critiques on older projects just based on knowledge acquired, blah, blah, blah. But in a short time frame following that rush, I am really happy with the efforts, the turnout, and the results. So I'm what you call a self-proclaimed procrastinator. But is that really something to be proud of? It's honest, but I'm often slightly embarrassed to be such a blaring example of a procrastinator, to the point that I have to call it out. Now, it's usually to prompt the person to be honest with me about the sense of urgency needed and not give me a vague timeline or due date for their own good. But should I be claiming something with such a negative connotation? I've had conversations around procrastination lots of times. I always bring it up because it's truly something I struggle with, and I don't deny it. And there's one person that knows me pretty well. They pointed out that my process, while on the surface may come across as procrastination, is actually really involved. With me, I I'm turning over that project, that duty, whatever it is in my head constantly leading up to when I actually get to it. So it's not like it's out of sight, out of mind, or I'm starting from scratch, by any means when I finally do get to it. But by the time I'm ready to get into action, I've literally turned over all the leaves, worked out all the obstacles without even being intentional about it. So I'm ready to execute, and I really appreciated that observation. Now, it's not an excuse for doing things the way I do, but it's an interesting observation. For real, it might explain my headaches because my mind is constantly churning with stuff I'm thinking about doing until I get around to doing it. But the person that, pointed that out was absolutely right. One of my sons has a birthday coming up, and while I've not formally planned a thing, y'all, I've been thinking about each and every piece of the day, how I want it to go. I've started, putting fillers out there for help, calling in, favors, things like that. So when I'm ready to go, when I'm ready to sit down and really plan it out, and I need to do that soon. It's in like 2 weeks. I don't have to work through the what or the how. I literally just have to make the call, make the payment, and it's done. Last minute, but it's done. So I don't know why I'm like that. I don't. But for my sanity, I have to get better at planning. I live a busy life, work, 3 boys, a husband that I got to keep in check. Y'all, one day I'm going to talk about how much trouble these therapy sessions are getting me in with the hubs. He produces these for me, and so that means he's listening to them, he's analyzing, he's overthinking them, and I'm answering 20 questions about who am I talking about, what do you really mean by this? So y'all pray for me. Sorry, babe. But back to the topic. I have a lot to juggle, and while I haven't dropped any big balls, it could definitely happen. I mean, it's coming. I'm playing with fire here. My head is not the best filing system, especially in the long run. Planning and purposely thinking out how I'm going to approach something will also allow me to solicit help and stop being Superwoman, trying to be Superwoman. Nope, I was right. I'm Superwoman. Remember, I'm not minimizing myself. And you guys you're getting my thoughts raw, so forgive me. But like I said, most of the time, all the steps of how something will get done are in my head, waiting for me to get to at the last minute. So I can't even use my village. I can't use, my support system, whether it be family members or even my colleagues, to help me. I can't ask for help because, again, it's all in my head, waiting for me to do at the last minute when I'm ready to do it. And by that time, I'm in a crunch because I need that rush, that pressure to get serious about doing something. And there are times when I get there and I can really use the help, but I feel bad because I don't want to burden or inconvenience someone else just because I waited to the last minute. So I just get it done and again, frustrate myself again. And we don't even have time to talk about time wasters. Oh my gosh. What I am doing in the midst of all of this procrastination, social media, and more so for me, honestly, is news articles. Apple News can get me caught up for hours, reading article after article, when I know I got a to-do list to knock out. I know I have better stuff to do with my time. Time is limited. Time is so precious. It's the one thing that you cannot get back. They say if something can be done in 5 minutes or less, just do it. Why not just get up and do it? I can't begin to count the 5 minutes or less tasks that I just procrastinate in doing because what? I think I'm going to do everything so fast that I'll be bored and there'll be no more pressure or motivation to get more stuff done. Please. I can't even listen to myself anymore, but thank y'all for listening. This was good. Longer than usual, and I'm not done. I could write a book on procrastination because, y'all, I got stories, I got tactics, I got, ways that I've tried to get out of it. I can talk about it for a long time, but I'll stop here. My therapy really does do me well. I appreciate it, y'all. Catch me next time.
My
Peace.
therapy.